तिन हरे पूज करावा, तिन हरे पूज करावा। जिथे जाए बह मेरा सतगुरु, जिथे जाए बहे मेरा सतगुरु, जिथे जाए बह मेरा सतगुरु, जिथे जाए बहे मेरा सतगुरु। सो थान सुहावा राम राजे, सो थान सुहावा राम राजे, सो थान सुहावा
Um, Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this e-inauguration of our car park at Gurdwara Siri Guru Nanak Darbar in Officer. Um, I think we will start our proceedings for the day. Once again, at the outset, let me thank you for taking time to be able to join us on a very pleasant Saturday afternoon. It's really a very nice weather outside. I would also like to have gone to the lake and sit there and make this presentation there and see you all there. In an ideal world, you would have been here today on 33 Officer Road, where you would have been, enjoying seeing us face to face, looking at the car park face to face, looking at some other projects, shaking hands, or probably saying hello while maintaining COVID safe regulations, and probably joining us for a cup of tea and some very good snacks. We are also all over on Facebook, guys, so please look for us on Facebook. We are also very strong in the virtual and social media space. Before I start our proceedings for the day, I will make some logistical announcements here, and then I will start with the acknowledgements. Please keep yourself muted if you're not talking. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question, but you also have the option to send us a message on the chat window, and we will try to respond to your questions at the end. If there is any technological snag at your end, don't panic. We know you love us and you want to view us. So this is the phone number of our colleague Randeep, 0474 Give him a buzz and you can still get connected. He will be able to assist. And in a worst case, we are already on Facebook Live. So please, look at things on Facebook Live. Uh, I must admit that this is the first time we are doing an event of this kind online. And when we are doing this inauguration, the format of the event and also the nature and the scope of the event is different. So you will have to bear with us, have some patience, and I hope you will like our approach that we have followed today to organize this event. All of us are learning in this changing world, and we will also appreciate if you would like to send us a feedback at the end of the event, in any form, so that we can improvise in future. And I believe we will be sharing this experience with a lot of people in the wider community, so that they can also organize the events rather than postponing, canceling the events, which is very, very frustrating for the organizers. While we are here in this virtual event, I would request you to make sure that all of us follow all COVID safe procedures wherever we are. On a lighter note, look at the emergency exit at your end, have a cup of tea or coffee and keep yourself warm. Don't forget to stretch in between, and we will be recording this session. So please, I hope no one has any issues or objections with this session being recorded or them being captured as a picture or as a speaker. And if you have any of these objections, again, send us a message in the chat window, and we will be looking at that message and making sure that whenever we transmit these images or post them on Facebook, we are we are uh, we are making sure that we do not show your picture there. Thanks a lot for that. Moving on to our next slide, I will first of all acknowledge our Aboriginal community, and they're who are the traditional custodians of the land on which we are meeting. We pay our respects to the elders of the past, present, and future, and acknowledge their spiritual connection to the country. Moving on to the next slide, uh, I will traditionally welcome you as we do in the Sikh faith and Punjabi culture with Ji Aya Nu, which means a warm welcome. We invite you and we respect you and we thank you in a very gracious way for making time to come and attend this event. Let's move on to the next slide. The package for today is a very simple package. I think we are quite close to being running on time. All of you, I believe, are comfortable where you are sitting. We are making some general announcements today, which I've already done. We will be acknowledging all those who are attending the session with us today. We will be starting with a opening prayer from Siri Guru Granth Sahib, which is the holy scripture of the Sikh faith, and we will do that. This will be done by Gyani Upkar Singh, who is our priest at the Gurdwara, and the translation of those pious uh, words will be on the screen. Following this, we will do some video presentations of how we were as a property before the car park was there. We will share some salient features of the car park with you guys, and then we will show you a video of how the car park looks like as on date. And then we will have some inaugural and congratulatory speeches from our dignitaries, followed by some quick bites from our community and an opportunity for you to ask us any questions. This will then be followed by concluding remarks and thanks. And I hope, we will be able to finish by about 2:35 to 2:45. So thanks a lot for your valuable time today again. Let's move to the next slide. Um, I will now request our Gyani Upkar Singh. Can we please spotlight him? And he will be reading the prayer, the Mool Mantra, which is the starting first few lines from the Holy Scripture, Siri Guru Granth Sahib. Upkar Singh ji. Upkar Singh ji, can you please unmute yourself? Thank you.
uh, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ ਦਾ ਪਾਠ ਕਰੀਏ। ਇਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਆਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਭੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਭੀ ਸਚ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
Thank you, Gyani Upkar Singh ji. I will now like to acknowledge all the guests and dignitaries that we have today who are attending this session. I would like to first acknowledge the state government who has provided us the funding to do this car park project. I would also like to acknowledge the Multicultural Affairs Department and the Department of Families, Fairness and Housing, which administered this grant. And we will be talking a bit about this grant when we talk about the salient features of this project. I would also like to welcome our dignitaries here, uh, our MP from BAS, Jordan Krugnali, who is also representing the Honorable Minister for Multicultural Affairs, Ross Pence. I would also like to welcome Jordan. I will also like to welcome Harriet Singh, who is the member for Eastern Victoria, our MP for Gembrook, Brad Bettin. I will also like to welcome our Mayor of the Cardinia Shire Council, Brett Owen, and the Commissioner of the Victorian Multicultural Commission, Bwe The. I would also like to acknowledge and welcome the presence of our councillors today, Councillor Tammy Redford, Councillor Colin Ross, Councillor Stephanie Davis, Councillor Jack Kovarsvik, and I think Councillor Graham Moore was also planning to join us, so I'm not sure whether he's here or not. But thanks a lot, all dignitaries and esteemed friends who have joined us today to support us and encourage us. I would also like to thank all the project funding and other projects that have supported this car park project. And for example, the drone pictures that you will see as part of this car park project, you will find that these drone pictures were taken because of the funding that we utilized to buy a drone from the other project funded by the federal government. I would also like to thank our Sangat and community for their co-contributions while the car park project was being constructed, both in terms of emotional support and the cheer ups, as well as the financial support. Big thanks to our SGND team of volunteers for their hard work, support, and patience during the construction process. I would also like to thank a lot of community groups who are today here to support us, representatives from Lakeside Resident Group, Gardenia Interfaith Network, Gardenia Gujarati Association, our representatives from Gardenia Shire Council, who have been providing us support and extensions to be able to construct this car park beyond the initial timeline that was provided us. Melbourne Water for giving us the permits. Ramsey Construction, who constructed the car park project. I would also like to acknowledge and welcome that some of our media friends are here. Pakenham Gazette, Daniel is here from Pakenham Gazette. PTC Gagan Bumrah is from PTC here. We have most likely we have Indra from the Indian Sun and Mr. Neeraj Nanda from South Asian Times. I would like to welcome all of them. I would also like to welcome colleagues from Victoria Police who are also attending this event today with us. Jaspeer Singh from Sikh Interfaith Council of Victoria. Um, I believe, have representatives from Outlook, Living and Learning Pakenham, Need for Feed, some of the local churches, and Connect Right Now. I also have some of my colleagues from Cardinia Pandemic Recovery Committee, and I would like to welcome them as well. I also have some colleagues from Federation University, Victoria University, and Chisholm Barrick who are here and have provided uh, us the support in forms of students who have been working on our projects. I would also like to recognize that Sikh Community Connections is also encouraging us with this event, and they are probably attending this event on Facebook Live. I have friends from Federation of Indian Australians. Some of my friends from Bunyip have also joined the event. Uh, Bunnings, I would like to make a special mention because they provide us a lot of free goodies and discounted things which help us in any project that we do. Cam Studio, I would like to thanks Cam Studio for some of the recordings and pictures that they have clicked with their drone. which was very useful for understanding the project and showcasing the project to the community. Some of our viewers have joined on Facebook Live, so welcome to them as well. And most importantly, I would like to thank the technology which is making all of this possible. I can't tell you how frustrating it gets when you organize events and then you have to cancel them because of pandemic and other reasons. But I'm very happy that the technology has made it possible for us to run the event today. So I think we will move to the next slide now, which is a video presentation, which our colleagues Avtar Singh and Randeep Singh will be running now. The first video presentation that you will see is a presentation on how the car park looked when we moved into the property in January 2019, and some of the pictures that you will see are from June 2018 onwards, and they will show you where we were a few years and few months back. And following this, I will be making a brief presentation on some of the salient aspects of our car park. Over to you, Avtar, for your video presentation. Thank you. Thank you, Avtar. I will now very briefly run through some of the salient features of this project. As of now, using this funding that we received from the state government, we have been able to put 44 car spaces, and this includes 2 of the car spaces which are disabled car spaces. And uh, there was a great interest from the community that we wanted to put these car spaces, not only for comfort but also from a safety perspective. It was one of the conditions on our planning permit, and I'm very happy that we have been able to fulfill that condition. All of this has been possible only because of the funding that we received from the state government, called the Indian Community Infrastructure Fund. And there were a lot of applications, I believe, for this funding. It was a very competitive funding, and only 15 organizations received support under this funding, about which probably Jordan will talk. And it was I think a $2.5 million funding, and we are very proud that we were the recipients of this funding. And with this funding, we have now been able to construct a car park, which I am calling climate proof as well, because we do understand that with the changes in climate, the rainfall intensities would go up, and that's why we have put a drainage infrastructure that will take care of a 1 in 8 or 1 in 10 year flood event. Often car parks are put or designed for a 1 in 5 year rainfall event, but we increase the size of our drainage infrastructure so that we can put a bigger, a more climate proof car park. The council requirement was, I think, we needed to put about 35 spaces or so, but we have put in about 41 spaces already. And what is noteworthy to mention also is, and I would like to thank Ramsey Constructions here, because the temple services on Thursday evenings and Sundays were not interrupted at all during the construction phase. Ramsey Construction was very, very understanding and supportive of the fact that we have to run our services, the prayer services, and they cooperated with us to make sure that we could run these services in an accident free, comfortable environment. Moving on to the next slide, and this is a timeline of how the project has progressed. And we are very proud. Once again, the initial approval of the car park project's drawings was somewhere in September of 2018. We moved into the property in January 2019, and then we applied for these Indian Community Infrastructure Funds somewhere in February of 2020. We received this funding somewhere in September, and then we had to replan the process of construction of the car park. Some car spaces were added, some of them had to realign. We had to go back to the council for approval, and then we also had to get an approval from Melbourne Water, because we have a creek that passes through the property, the Haunted Gully Creek, and we wanted to make sure that we do not contaminate that creek with the water that flows through from the car parks road surfaces. We followed a reasonably transparent bidding process, got quotes from about 4 different uh, companies, construction firms, and eventually decided to go ahead with Ramsey Constructions. In April of 2021, we started the construction of the car park. The construction ended somewhere in August, and then we were doing a few finishing touches like putting speed bumps and marking speed humps and marking the car park bays. And today we are doing the inaugural. The inaugural event was earlier scheduled for 31st of July, cancelled because or postponed because of the pandemic restrictions. Then we designed it and reorganized it for 14th of August today. But then we decided that we have to exhibit resilience and somehow look for an alternative way to do this inauguration. And I did check with Jordan and Harriet's office whether that kind of arrangement will work, and they were very supportive of this, so I would like to thank their office as well. um, Moving on to the next slide, friends, what you will see is that this car park has been constructed for a cost of about $350,000, of which $285,000 has come from state government funding, and our community has made contributions of about $65,000 towards the construction part of this car park. Now, all of these are cash contributions, but if you look at how many volunteer hours would have been spent in the construction of this car park, sorry, there's a small typo here. We reckon that we have spent about 1,000 hours as volunteers on making this car park happen, and that is also a significant contribution from the volunteers in the community, and I would like to hats off to them for all their patience and their contributions, other than making cash contributions towards this massive project. We'll move on to the next part of our presentations today, where I believe we are going to show a video on the car park, how it looks as of now. Thank you, Avtar.
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਤਨਾਮ गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु
So I think these were pictures of the construction phase, and now we will be starting to share the video of the car park now.
वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु 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 सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु 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 सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु 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 सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु 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 सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु सतनाम वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु वाहे गुरु
Thank you, Avtar and Randeep, once again for making this video, for capturing these beautiful movements with a drone, and also for sharing this in a very very professional way. and this afternoon. And thanks once again. At this stage, I would like to have some requests for our dignitaries. I would request them to uh, be spotlighted and make a presentation to us, or a speech to us. We will start with our MP for PAS, Jordan Krugnali. Jordan Krugnali, thanks a lot for joining us. Jordan is also representing our Minister for Multicultural Affairs, Honorable Minister Ross Pence. She has visited our Gurdwara many times, and I remember the first time she came was on our foundation day of 3rd June 2018, and she has been a very big supporter of the Sikh community, multicultural matters and multicultural community. Thanks a lot once again, Jordan, and I will keep quiet now and pass it on to you. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Harpreet, and thank you for such a warm welcome. My name's Jordan Krugnali, and I'm your local state member of parliament in the Andrews Labor government, and the area I represent is the Bass electorate, which covers the areas of Pakenham, Clyde, Clyde North, through to Phillip Island and Wonthaggi. I wish to begin by acknowledging Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders as our first Australians, and recognise they have a really unique relationship with the land, the water and the skies, going back thousands and thousands of years. And we are meeting today, the Gurdwara is on the land of the Wurundjeri and Bunurong people, members of the Kulin Nation, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Indeed, we respect all our elders in our community. My special thanks to the Gurdwara Siri Guru Nanak Darbar officer for so kindly extending an invitation to today's event, and for the ingenuity and agility shown in shifting this event online. And it was wonderful that you also thanked technology in your opening remarks. I notice on our screens too, I'd like to acknowledge my parliamentary colleagues, Harriet Shing, the member for Eastern Victoria, Brad Batten, the member for Gembrook. I also see the Mayor for Cardinia Shire Council, Brett Owen, Councillor Tammy Radford, and any other councillors that may have joined us since. And Bwei Tai, who's the Deputy Chair of the Victorian Multicultural Commission, and everyone joining us here today. It was just wonderful too to have a visual journey that we just saw from 2018 till today, and the video of us of the walkthrough actually really felt like we were actually all walking together in admiration. It was a lovely pace to actually get a sense of how far the Gurdwara has come with this grant. I know this is not how we wanted the celebration to turn out, and we did have a few attempts to meet in person. However, I'm really delighted to join you for the inauguration of what you have now relabelled the car park as the Climate Proof Car Park. Our Minister for Multicultural Affairs, Ross Spence, sends her best wishes and congratulations, and thanks to you for your strength and resilience during this really challenging time. The Andrews Labor government is a proud supporter of cultural diversity. In Victoria, we want to have many easily accessible, high quality, culturally diverse spaces that are safe and welcoming, and that can bring joy and connection to Victorians of all backgrounds. And the pandemic has proven that. So more than ever, our community and cultural connections are vital. And the work that you do in keeping your community safe, connected and supported, and the work you continue to do more broadly, whether it's through our schools, on the sporting fields, in our cultural centres, health services, in our support services, and of course, as many of you are also representatives on a number of our local community and council committees, and all to bring positive change and priority projects and programs to realisation, and significant contributions to make where we live and work, all to make where we live and work a better place for everyone. So I'm really delighted to be part of this government in delivering this particular project as part of our Indian Community Infrastructure Fund. As Harpreet mentioned, it's a very competitive process, There were 15 successful applications in this round. And the projects funded across Victoria are really varied and give insight into the infrastructure needs required that this fund addresses. So some of the things that came out of this particular round was community school amenities upgrade, fencing and gates, renovation to a senior citizen centre, kitchen facilities upgrade, a children's playground, a PA system, even a warehouse conversion. And the total that our state government put in was just over 2.4 million. So the project we're here to celebrate today has seen our government contribute $285,000 towards a total project cost of $350,000. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you all, as your financial and also the thousands of volunteer hours contribution is really significant, and the reason we have formed this invaluable partnership and continue on this journey to strengthen our partnerships and relations. As Harpreet mentioned, it translates to 41 car spaces and a sealed entrance and exit. And remarkable also that the project only started in April and was completed in June, and the temple can now tick off their planning permit requirements obligation. Our state is really proud to be home of the largest Indian population in our nation, and Victoria's Indian community brings countless positive contributions and impacts to our state, whether it's through cultural exchanges of art, music and food, social engagement, community events, festivals, economic contributions, and not least of all, also innovation. The strength and resilience of our Indian community organisations has been on full display over this past year and 18 months, and the dedication of community leaders and organisations in looking out for fellow Victorians were really immensely appreciated by everyone. So on behalf of the Victorian Government, I want to sincerely thank you and the extended Indian community for their invaluable contributions. I'd also like to take this opportunity to commend the Gurdwara for the tireless work you do as an organisation, each day, every day, each year, to support the Sikh community and Victorians more broadly. I know the temple is a very sacred and special place for so many here today and for our wider community. And it's difficult that we can't gather in such important places at this time, but I thank you for doing your part in adhering to the current state home restrictions and keeping Victorians safe. So I'm really pleased that with the support of the Victorian Government and the Multicultural Community Infrastructure Fund, the temple will be more accessible for community with the opening of this climate-proof car park, and it will no doubt make a meaningful and lasting difference. So once more, thank you so much for inviting me here today. I hope to see you all in person soon, and in this virtual world, I formally declare the car park open. Yeah. Oh, there's fireworks. That's fantastic.
Yeah, the fireworks are for those people who are currently in US, and they can enjoy the fireworks.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Jordan. Appreciate your kind words and your encouragement always. We look forward to having you in person in the car park as soon as the restrictions open. Thank you. I will now request our member for Eastern Victoria, Harriet Singh, to join us. Again, Harriet has visited the Gurdwara, I think 2 times, and whenever she comes, she tries to take a walk of the facility, see what changes are being made, and also suggests us some interesting things. And she is a big supporter. She tries to and always encourages us to think big and do big. So thank you, Harriet, for your time today. I love your beautiful dupatta on your head. Very, very mindful and very, very culturally sensitive of you to have done this. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Harriet. Thank you.
Thank you, Harpreet. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on such a beautiful sunny afternoon. Whilst we are only able to gather in 2 dimensions, this doesn't reduce the importance and the magnitude of today's occasion and the coming together to celebrate all that has been achieved, not just in the construction of this car park, but more broadly by the Gurdwara in the community, in the state, in every family who is touched by your generosity and your spirituality. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land upon which we are all meeting virtually today. For the land of the Gurdwara and where that is situated, the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. And I would like to acknowledge and pay my respects to any and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander leaders or emerging leaders who have joined us here today, and to acknowledge the extraordinary leadership of so many other senior figures and role models throughout our multicultural communities, and in particular our Sikh and Punjabi communities as well. Thank you, Harpreet, as always, for your enthusiasm and for your dedication and to your commitment to creating facilities and environments which are welcoming, which are accessible, and which are inclusive. It has been a joy to see the Gurdwara transform over time to become a place where people can not just come together in prayer and in worship, but also to gather in the service of others, and in order to make what has been an incredibly tough couple of years easier for those in our broader communities. This is where we as a state government need to also be able to support you. And you deserve our support, and you also deserve the support of fellow parliamentarians, Jordan and Brad. It's lovely to see you here, and the Cardinia Shire Council. And I acknowledge that we have got the Mayor and other councillors here today, along with many other community leaders who've joined us for this special occasion. And you can hear my cheer squad in the background. I'm sorry about that. But what I did want to acknowledge is that this car park and the completion of this car park is symbolic of so much. It represents the capacity for people to come together in making grant applications and putting forward the best case possible to secure one of those elusive 15 spots available for funding, and to secure that $285,000. It also represents the $62,000, I think you said $250 commitment from volunteer and family donations. And that brings the economic value of this car park up to $350,000, a huge amount for the community to have raised so much in support of. But again, to acknowledge the 1,000 community hours of contribution through work to build this car park. I know, having walked across what was previously a pretty gravelly and sometimes uneven surface, that this will make all the difference, not just for the 41 spaces that are created, but for those with limited mobility and access issues. And I want to say a special thank you to those who worked so hard to maintain proper drainage and runoff, to take care of the environmental surrounds of Haunted Creek as well. So this is something which, again, shows the very best of community. And I think I've said before when I visited the Gurdwara that you are the best of our community. You represent the themes of resilience, of community, of inclusion, of care, and of humanity. And to that end, it is an absolute joy to join you here today. This belongs to all of you, and I can't wait to see Harpreet and others where we head to in the next part of the journey to secure further assistance, funding, resources and engagement across all levels of government. With that, I will conclude my remarks and thank you all very, very much for the opportunity to be part of today's celebration. I'm looking forward to walking those beautiful asphalt paths in real life and to seeing just what a difference that makes as part of better amenities and facilities, not just for the Shire, not just for the Gurdwara, but for the entire community. Thank you, as always, for being your true and wonderful selves.
Thank you, Harriet, for your kind words. Very inspiring, very touching, very encouraging as always. And we look forward to having you. I should have said right at the start when we were showing the new car park and running the video that you should tie your seat belts while you're getting on this car park and drive virtually. But again, I do appreciate your words around resilience and environment. And we have tried to make sure that, and we are demonstrating resilience by doing this event online in this difficult time. And I must also say that we are looking at a lot of environmental things that we are doing in these spaces next to the car park. We ideally wanted to put some porous pavement as car spaces, but because of the budget constraints we could not do that. But we will keep looking for funding and contributions from our community to do that in future and demonstrate this on a scale for the other communities and other infrastructure projects. And thanks once again, Harriet. We will now have a speech from Brad Batten, who is our MP for Gembrook. Brad is loved and respected in our community center, and I will not even be able to count how many times he has come to support us, cheer us up, have food with us, talk to us about our faith, listen to the music and the religious hymns. And thank you, Brad. We have really wished that you were with us at the community center at the Gurdwara today, but unfortunately that hasn't happened. But we look forward to having you at the Gurdwara. Over to you for your encouraging words, as you always inspire us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harpreet. And I will say, first of all, I'll be looking forward to walking around and not getting my shoes dirty if it's been raining when we get to the Gurdwara. But first of all, I will acknowledge, thank you very much to Harriet and to Jordan. And I know there's some councillors in here as well. It's great to be here with everybody. And as I think everybody's reiterated, we would much prefer to be at the Gurdwara today, so we'd have the opportunity to go through and share some of those amazing snacks that you do talk about, but we all get to share when we go down there. The Gurdwara over time, and seeing the development for myself, whilst the car park is super important, it's about every aspect that's happened along the way. And I know that you've had a lot of funding from state and federal governments to assist, but you've also had a lot of local support, a lot of support from local community, not just in value of dollars, but in the value of volunteers. And the other aspect of this, it's that reward for the amount of work that is done, particularly in your new kitchen there, where you get to feed so many people in our community who need a bit of extra support along the way. So I think it's really important that we don't ever lose focus of, whilst the temple is a place of worship, it's also a place of giving. And it's a place of supporting not just the Sikh community, but the communities of Casey and Cardinia and surrounds when needed. And I think that's something that occasionally people don't look at when they're looking at the facilities that are there. They're just looking at it as just a temple. I'm disappointed. I'd love to be able to be down there, as we know, Harpreet, and I know we've spoken about this in the past, that temples are places where people go, particularly in times like this, with mental health, for support, for friendship, for that extra bit of caring that they do need. And it is disappointing that we can't even have a COVID-safe environment where people can go down there, even in random numbers, just to go down there to get that extra support. And we hope that that's something that changes soon. And now you've got the extra facilities there. That would be something that would be a great advantage to the future. I'll say, Harpreet, to you and your team, thank you very much for the invite today. Thank you for showing us through. And I think Jordan actually said it well. The way you showed us through that car park was fantastic. You get a real feel of how that car park has advanced, changed, and will upgrade the whole facility around those areas. And I know Harriet mentioned around the environmental overlay with that, for some of the things you've done to make sure you protect the environment. And as I finish up, I'm not going to speak too long. Can I also please pass on to yourself, your team, and to everybody watching today, to remind everybody tomorrow is a very important day in the Indian community. And I want to wish you all a happy 75th Independence Day. I know that's a very important day for the Indian community. I just want to make sure everybody out there is celebrating in the way they can, but we're looking forward to it, all getting back together and sharing some food, the celebrations that we've missed, and getting back together as a community, which is everything that I know that your religion and your faith is all about. So we look forward to that. And thank you again very much, Harpreet, for having us along.
Many thanks, Brad. Very inspiring, very touching words. And as I said, we look forward to having you at the Gurdwara sometime very soon. Thank you, Brad. Our next speaker is our Mayor, Brett Owen. Now, Brett is an extremely busy mayor within the Cardinia Shire Council, as busy as the Shire itself, the way we are growing. But Brett is just an email away. You send an email to Brett and in a few hours you will see a response from Brett. And at times I envy him, and at times he becomes my role model, because he teaches us on how to respond to the stakeholders effectively, efficiently, and in time. So Brett, you're really loved by our community. Brett uses the officer road quite often, and he really feels proud of us being in the community. And whenever I meet Brett, he says, when I was passing officer road, I saw, this is coming up very well. So Brett, again, thanks a lot once again to you and your team at the Shire for understanding us, understanding that we are a very small community focused organization run by volunteers, and if you were not responding in time, we might have finished off this car park in December this year, not in June this year. So the share of the success also goes to the Shire, and Shire being led by our Mayor Brett. Over to you, Brett. Thank you.
Thank you, Harpreet, for your kind words. You're very nice, too kind. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land in which we meet, the Bunurong and Wurundjeri people, and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present. Thank you so much, Harpreet. I've been really enjoying it this afternoon, and well done with the technology. You're really impressive the way you're organising today. I want to acknowledge, obviously, our local MPs. We've got Jordan Cronali, Harriet Ching, and also Brad Batten. Thank you for joining us, our local MPs. It is really appreciated. Also, Councillor Tammy Radford, I see you there, Tammy. It's great to have you along. Also, we've got council staff joining us today as well, and also former council staff as well. So I'd like to acknowledge them as well. But it gives me great pleasure to join you all in today's very special event. I understand that today's event may not be what you had originally planned, but it's wonderful that we're still able to come together to celebrate this occasion. Congratulations on your hard work and achievements, and I really enjoyed that video, the videos before and after, and I do look forward to visiting in person very soon, all being well. I'm also not just referring to today's celebration of the new car park, but all that you do and contribute to our Shire. I just want to thank you. Congratulations. As an active community group run by dedicated volunteers, you certainly contribute to building community connections and promoting harmony. Your commitment to community cohesion and helping those in need is very much appreciated. And I do note that was acknowledged by other speakers previously. On behalf of Cardinia Shire Council, we're very proud of our Shire's vibrant and diverse community. Our cultural diversity is one of our greatest strengths and contributes to making our Shire such a welcoming community in which to live. We want our Shire to be a livable community and for community members to feel included and connected. A place where everyone belongs and where our differences and contributions are valued and celebrated. I do take this opportunity to congratulate you once again on your new car park, your continued contributions to our community. And you're right, Harpreet, I know Officer Road well. I grew up my childhood just a K down the road, and I actually knew the previous owners of your temple, growing up and visited there as a child, and I've really enjoyed seeing your temple grow and what you do for our community. It is really appreciated, and I look forward to visiting in person and checking out this great new car park. So thank you for inviting me today to be part of your celebrations, and I wish you all the very best for the future. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you once again, Brett, for your kind words. Appreciate it, and look forward to having you at the site. And I will keep bothering you with more requests. So make sure that you don't start getting upset with too many emails coming from me. But we are there always. And if you see any opportunity in the Shire where we can come and give a hand to anything, especially in this period of pandemic, we are just a phone call away. Thank you, Brett. Now our next speaker is Bwe The. Sorry, Bwe, if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Bwe is the Deputy Chair of Victorian Multicultural Commission. I met Bwe just once, at one of the Cardinia Interfaith Network events, and I feel like, I know him for ages. He's just a message away. You send him a message and he will respond back. He's so positive. He has such a vibrant energy that I really would have loved to see him in person again. But I'm hoping that Wei, you will find time to come along with our multicultural commissioner Vivian sometime to the property to look at what we are doing and also guide us. Over to your kind words of congratulation and whatever you feel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harpreet. Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, and good afternoon, everyone. I would also like to start off by acknowledging the traditional custodians upon the land which I'm joining this conversation from, and I pay my respect to the elders past and present. I also want to acknowledge their ongoing connections to the land and waters of Victoria. I would also like to acknowledge our distinguished guests, Jordan Cronali, MP member for Bass, also representing our Minister for Multicultural Affairs, Honorable Ross Spence, Member of Parliament, Harriet Singh, representing Eastern Victoria region, and Brad Betting, MP, member for Gembrook. Also the Mayor of Cardinia Shire, Councillor Brett Owen, our community leaders, faith leaders, and fellow guests, and our community members. Thank you so much for this opportunity to say a few words and also inviting me to be part of this celebration. It is heartwarming to see so many community members coming together, some familiar faces, but also some new. And as Harpreet mentioned, I was really looking forward to being there at the venue in person. I want to thank the team that has put on the creative video so that we could have a virtual tour. It was very creative, and I want to thank the team for doing that. Indeed, I look forward to meeting the communities in person. I think during this difficult time, we've realized how important it is, the opportunity to meet in person, to have those conversations. It just shows how the things that we often take for granted are very, very important and essential. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Bwe The, and I'm the Deputy Chairperson at the Victorian Multicultural Commission, an independent statutory body that advocates for and promotes cultural diversity in Victoria across all levels of governments. I'm very honored, I should say, to be speaking today in support of Siri Guru Nanak Darbar Officer, a community organization with a mission of promoting harmony and building bridges between our Victorian diverse cultural faith and tradition. I want to thank you for the very proactive work and volunteer contribution you have made to our communities. The past year has been a very challenging one, but most especially for our multicultural communities, especially our communities like mine, where I come from. meeting together in person means so much, and we are not able to do this. With technology, we are able to meet virtually, and I want to thank the organizers of this event for utilizing technology to bring us together. I want to thank the volunteer team from the Sri Guru Nanak Darbar for their generosity, compassion, and for making a very big impact on our diverse community. I have been keeping a close eye on this group of our community champions, and I've seen the amazing work you've done firsthand in terms of reaching out through food distribution, spending hours of time preparing, your contribution towards the COVID safe messaging and so forth. I feel so honored to be working with you all. I'm also, on behalf of the VMC, we want to congratulate you and commend you and thank you for the work you do. We are very proud to be working alongside you on your journey, and we applaud you for this milestone. We are also very pleased that the state government grant is going to such a worthy, deserving cause, and we truly believe that it will assist in your work over the years to come. In conclusion, I want to just mention that the Victorian Multicultural Commission at the moment also has the nominations opened for our multicultural awards for excellence. I want to encourage all our members here, our community members, to share some great stories, the work that you do, so that it can be shared across to our broader Victorian communities. We've gone through a very difficult time, but it's also an opportunity to share good news stories so that it can uplift our spirit as a community. For more information on this, please visit our website. Also, please follow us on our social media like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thank you all once again for having me. Thank you, Harpreet.
Thank you, Bhuve, for your kind words. And as I said, hope to see you sometime soon, because I really want to, get blessed by your vibrant energy of your vibrant smiles. And thanks a lot. So that is the end of our speeches from our dignitaries. But I must also acknowledge that we have with us today our Councillor Tammy Redford, Councillor Stephanie Davis, who is probably online, but she is probably viewing the proceedings either on Facebook or on Zoom. Councillor Colin Ross, who is viewing the proceedings on Facebook Live right now. Councillor Jack Kowarswick, and I think Councillor Graham Moore was also planning to join us, so I am not sure whether he's here or not. In all, we have about 52 participants on Zoom, and I think we have another 25 currently viewing the proceedings on Facebook from different parts of the world. And thank you once again, all our dignitaries, for your kind words. I will now move on to the next item on the agenda, where we will have a quick bite from our very, very loved volunteer and community member in the community, Daya Singh ji. He's a musician and he's also an author, and I would really encourage all of you to come and visit the Gurdwara and listen to the religious hymns that he recites for us at the Gurdwara, which are so magnetic, so powerful that they attract you immensely. So over to you, Daya Singh ji. Thank you.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. I had to start off with the Sikh greeting because I can see one of our elders, Gyaniji, on the screen. So I've got no choice but to start with that. And I'm sure there are a lot of my Sikh brothers and sisters who are listening in as well. I'm very honored that my community has asked me to say a few words. So according to protocol, I'll first of all like to pay my respects to the Aboriginal community of Australia, the original inhabitants of this land. to me, that acknowledgement is very important. So we are very fortunate as a family to be fairly closely involved with the Aboriginal people. We have taken it upon ourselves. For example, my wife, I mean, she's got so many qualifications, but I know that she has also attended a few semesters of Aboriginal studies. And in fact, we went to class together to study the Pidginjara language in South Australia. And my daughter and I also have a Bachelor of Arts in Aboriginal Studies. So we make it a point to be very close to the Aboriginal people. So I decided to get in touch with the Aboriginal elders here who we know quite intimately. For the Wiradjuri, for the Bunurong elder, we know Auntie Caroline Briggs, for example. She was not available. And then we spoke to Elder Joy Murphy from the Wiradjuri people. And I must give you a quote that she gave me yesterday. She was too ill to come, and I always like to get the blessings of the indigenous people of this land, but she is not very well. So she said, her first comment was, "So you folks are creating a sacred site on our sacred land, are you?" And I said, "Yes, we are." She said, "Well, make sure you call it a sacred site." I said, "Well, there is a creek there called Haunted Gully Creek." She said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "I know about it. Maybe it should be turned to Sacred Gully Creek now, because this land is sacred land." And then I told her about the car park being put in around our own sacred site, the Gurdwara. And she said, "Well, let me tell you all that she said, if you keep fostering the sacredness of the land when considering whatever you build on it, you can never go wrong." Let me repeat that, very important. If you keep fostering the sacredness of the land when considering whatever you build on it, you can never go wrong. So we have the blessings of the original inhabitants of this land. And I told her that the car park has been built in such a way that it virtually wraps itself around our sacred site, the Gurdwara. She said, "Ah, that's great." And she said, "I assume you're going to grow plants, some trees around it." I said, "Yes." She said, "Unfortunately, the car park is a necessary evil on sacred land. That's where we live in, because people have to drive to it. I mean, I couldn't get to my sacred site if I walked, because I stay about 20 minutes by drive from our sacred site. So it is very important. And today is a very great day for us because we are celebrating its official opening. Now, I also like to acknowledge the interfaith community of which we are very, very proud. My wife, for example, is the founding member of WIN, Women's Interfaith Network, and Common, Center of Melbourne Multi-Faith and Others Network. And I have noticed a number of our members of both those organizations on site today, and I am very honored that they have actually taken the trouble to come and sit in on this very important occasion for us. I am a dreamer. I'm the one, I have got experience. I have been all around the globe. And to me, this Gurdwara is of tremendous pride to me, because I call it the Green Gurdwara. Because the importance here is to green the land, to make sure, as Elder Joy Murphy had told us, you make sure that you do not lose the sacredness of the land. And to me, the sacredness of the land is to ensure that we keep it as green as possible, and preferably leave it in a better condition than we ourselves found it in. And I'm so proud of the volunteers that we have, people like Harpreet, like Randeep, like Gyaniji, for example, like Avtar Singh. I know many others, Vikrant Singh, Harman Singh. They are all involved in that direction. We have set up an organic garden, for example, which is absolutely phenomenal. There's not only enough produce now for our cooking needs, we actually have people taking some of the produce back with them. Bushes are coming up. I have myself noticed butterflies coming into the area again. I have seen birds coming into the area. To me, those are the important things to make sure that we retain the sacredness of the land. The other thing which is of great importance to me is the younger generation. Now, I mean, I'll put it quite bluntly. When the car park was first thought of, what? You're putting a car park which has only got about 40 or 50 parking spaces. You should put up a car park which will look after 200 cars. And that is the wrong way to go about it, because as the community increases, you expand accordingly, keeping the aesthetics of the environment in mind. Now, we have the younger generation. We need to make sure that we foster the younger generation. We will certainly need more car parking, but we should think in terms of what do the younger generation needs. But this morning when I was reflecting on it, I thought, one of the greatest things that's happening at the moment is most of our youngsters are now doing skateboarding, roller skating, BMX bikes, and that needs concrete areas to do that. Maybe we can come across architects who might be able to do us a multi-purpose car park into the future. A car park which perhaps also doubles as tennis courts or netball or basketball or a skate park so that they can come and skate. And I tell you what, if there was a skate park with the next car park, my 4 grandchildren will be there. Not only on Sundays, they'll be there every day. So if we can infuse sacredness into their daily activities, that is the passion that I am very proud of, which I think our organizers should be thinking about. At the moment, it is such a beautiful car park that I myself am very impressed the way that the car park has come up. And I am very proud of the community that I belong to and the way the community is slowly progressing on this land. We do not need white elephants in the place. We need further progress, which is in going with the aesthetics of the land in general. So my congratulations to the community. And I'm also very honored that we have had some of the politicians. Like I said, I'm not politically correct. I don't know who it was, whether it was Brad or Brett, who came one day when we were practicing some sacred music.
Brad Bettin.
Who was it?
Brad Bettin.
It was Brad, was it? And he very cheekily said, can you do me a recording of Oh When the Saints Go Marching In? Because I have got a friend who is a St. Kilda supporter, and St. Kilda is doing very badly. Maybe a little bit of spirituality towards my friend might be of assistance to him. And it was a joy doing it for him, simply because this land is not just ours. We do not own the land. Just like the Aboriginal people, we are merely now the new custodians of this land, and we want to hand it over to the next generations. It's not only for the Sikhs, it is for everyone, because in a Sikh sacred place, everyone is welcome as long as they remain within the constraints of what we require. And that's very simple. Do not be sacrilegious of the sacred land that you're on. We don't indulge in meat, for example. We do not indulge in drugs or alcohol or smoking. But any other groups, yoga groups, etc., whoever wants to come and use this place, we will be more than welcoming. I'm proud of the community because in this pandemic, our community has gone out to feed others, to clothe others, to help others who are in need. And this pandemic has been a testing ground for us. And we are very proud for what we have been able to achieve in the mainstream community. That's what this land is about. So thank you very much. And it's a pleasure to be amongst such wonderful people. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Thank you, Daya Singh Ji, for very inspiring words and for sharing the blueprint that you and us share about environmental and social cohesion. I would also like to give the credits to Daya Singh Ji for the background music that we had played today. Jithe Jai Bahe Mera Satguru, which means that wherever my Guru is, wherever my Guru makes his house, the Gurdwara, that place is supposed to be blessed. And also for the flute that was played during the event. Okay, are we running the flute for a minute or so? If we can, that would be good. If we can't because of technology, that's all right. And if there are any questions, we are seeing some questions on the chat window. Avatar and Randeep, do you want us to answer any questions at this stage?
Yes, so with the questions, I request, if possible, post your question as a chat message. If not, we will monitor your screen and see if your hand is up. We'll unmute you and then give you the opportunity to ask. Thank you.
So we can see if we will see if there are any questions that you want us to answer about anything. And again, if we do not get an opportunity to do that today, feel free to send us a message, and we will follow Brett Owen's footsteps and try to respond to your questions ASAP. Thank you.
We will also take comments at this time, so it's not just the questions.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Seems Randeep, we are running slightly over time, so I think we can now go to the last part of our presentation and event today. I will request our volunteer colleague Harmeet Kaur to be spotlighted, and she will be making a thanks speech to all the attendees and the organizers. Over to you, Harmeet.
Thanks, Harpreet. What a lovely session. Thanks, everyone, for your company, support, encouragement, and precious time on a Saturday. We really appreciate it. As you all know, this was our first time as well trying something like this. So any feedback, we would welcome that. You can call us, email us, text us, or send us a message through Facebook. Would help us improve for our future sessions. A very big thanks to our team of tech experts, Randeep Virji, Avatar Virji, and Kevin, and Harman Virji for their support. I am joining this session from India, might be the farthest audience for this session, and it won't have been possible without technology and their hard work. Just a couple of points. We would love to welcome you to Siri Guru Nanak Darbar to check out the car park and our other ongoing projects, of course, when convenient and once the restrictions ease. You can also find further details about our activities, contributions to the community, and, if I may say, accomplishments of our volunteers on our Facebook page or website. Your few minutes could help us identify mutual areas of interest where we could potentially collaborate in the future. And of course, that's going to give us opportunity to spend more time with you and learn from you. Most of us are in lockdown right now. So our wonderful kids decided to create a video to highlight importance of getting vaccinated. We request you to kindly check out that video, spare some time to watch it and share it with your networks as well. Also, Siri Guru Nanak Darbar is providing support. If, let's say, anyone needs help with travel or anything related to, getting vaccinated, our volunteers are available to assist. During these tough times, Siri Guru Nanak Darbar is also providing free groceries to those who are in need. And we would kindly like to request you to spread the word and request anyone who could use this help to get in touch with us directly. Again, we are available through Facebook. Our volunteers are very active in getting back quickly. You can text us, email us, call us, whatever works. Now, coming to our upcoming events, we have organized a tree planting day on 22nd of August. Of course, considering the current situation, we are unsure whether or not that's going to happen, but we will be providing all the updates through our Facebook page. And should you need any further information, of course, please feel free to contact us through any of the mentioned channels. Finally, we would like to congratulate our Pakistani and Indian communities for the Independence Day. and would like to end the session with some significant words from Sikh faith that say, Nanak Naam Chardi Kala, Teri Pane Sarbat Da Pala, which means, may God's blessings bring prosperity and well-being for everyone. Very significant prayer in today's pandemic-struck world. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for your time.
Thank you once again, everyone, for your kind presence today. I would also like to once again thank Dea Singh ji for the background music, as well as Sistare for the flute music in the background, and also the sound engineer Jamil Kaur, who made this possible. Uh, and I once again thank you all. Look forward to having you at the Gurdwara in near future and at many other events. And thank you, everyone. Have a nice rest of the Saturday and weekend. And let's pray for all of us to come out of this pandemic ASAP so that we can again get to the world of 2019 or early 2020 when we could meet and greet each other. And thank you, everyone. This event is also available via Facebook Live. If you wanted to see anything or if you have missed out on anything that you wanted to relook at, appreciate your time today. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you. Bye bye.
Ram Raje Gur Sikhi So Than Palaya Gur Sikhi So Than Palaya Tud Mukh Lava Tud Mukh Lava Tud Mukh Lava Gur Sikha Ki Kal Thaye Pai Gur Sikha Ki Kal Thaye Pai Jin Har Naam Tyava Jin Nanak Sat Gur Pujya Jin Nanak Sat Gur Pujya Tina Har Puj Karava Tin Har Puj Karava Tin Har Puj Karava Jithe jaye beh mera Sat Guru Jithe jaye bahe mera Sat Guru So Than Sohava Ram Raje So Than Sohava